Interviewing the producer of Harvest Moon, Part 3, Final Message to the Fans. If you haven't already, then check out Part 1 of this interview with Hashimoto-san, because I explained there that the interview was from 2012 and how I'm simply reenacting it since it had never been translated to English before. Hashimoto-san produced many well-known Harvest Moon titles, but now he's launched his own company that will be continuing the Rune Factory series that he created. Now that you're all caught up, let's get on with this part of the interview. In February of 2012, we got our hands on a new Harvest Moon game with tons of new features. Harvest Moon: A New Beginning.
This game was a combination of some of the popular concepts we saw in previous titles. We took the life story concept from Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, as well as the customization features in Harvest Moon: A Magical Melody, and used them to make an even more innovative Harvest Moon for players to enjoy.
It was also the first Harvest Moon game to be released on the 3DS.
It's fun and all being able to play in 3D, but boosting the replay value of the game was the concept we really wanted to focus on. From several layers of fields to farm in and edit, to an entire customization system that lets you build, we wanted the player to have a 3D experience only possible through the system hardware of the 3DS.
Not to mention, the characters were made even taller in this game.
Once again, I got many valuable opinions on this decision from both inside and outside of the company, but eventually I just chose to trust my own judgment and carry out the changes with confidence alongside our development team.
So let's assume this is a reoccurring theme. Does that mean we should expect the next Harvest Moon to have even taller characters?
We haven't decided that far yet, but I don't think this type of decision is one to be made simply to satisfy a continuing trend. In the case of Grand Bazaar, we were able to make some big changes thanks to how the previous DS titles had evolved the series up until that point. Now that we're releasing a completely new title on a completely new gaming system, we have to start from scratch and take into consideration the feedback we'll get from new players of the series. We have to realize that these new players will play an important role in how the series will evolve from here on out.
Tell us about the games in the series that left the biggest impacts on you.
I'd say Tree of Tranquility, as well as Island of Happiness. Tree of Tranquility was the first title to be released on the Wii, so I had to really think about how I could introduce some new concepts to the game. When it came to Island of Happiness, I actually ended up passing on the baton to my staff before the game was completed. But it was really fun being able to work behind the scenes as opposed to having the center stage in production. On top of that, I was also able to work in areas I usually don't during the production stages, and overall the experience in itself gave me a big advantage when it came to working on a lot of other titles that followed. Tree of Tranquility and Island of Happiness were being produced simultaneously, so that's probably why these games stick out to me the most.
Okay, now please tell us about your all-time favorite characters in the series.
I'm pretty sure my favorites are some of the most loved characters in the series, those being Ellie and Popuri. But in terms of clothing design, my favorite would have to be Grand Bazaar's female protagonist. It took about 6 months for her design to be finalized. It's not uncommon for the designs for the protagonists to take a while, but in the case of Grand Bazaar, there were so many drafts that were turned down before we finally settled on a design. When the design was finalized, I said to myself, the rest of production should be smooth sailing. I truly felt that the design was the biggest hurdle for us, and once we overcame it, it was a sigh of relief. I really felt bad for how hard it must have been for Matsuyama-san.
But so, when things were all said and done, were you both happy with the final design?
Yes, we were. In the midst of asking Matsuyama-san to remake the design several times, I think I was able to get the point across that our ultimate goal is to make the best game we can for the players. I think we developed a sense of trust in each other thanks to the whole process.
Finally, I want to ask if you have anything you'd like to tell all of your fans out there.
Being able to have the players enjoy the game and genuinely think it's fun is most important to me. Those are the types of games that I want to make. At the time of this interview, May 2012, we've managed to sell over 200,000 copies of Harvest Moon: A New Beginning. I want to take our success from this release and put it towards our next endeavors. Every release, we receive a lot of feedback about the game and its characters. We want you to know that we value your opinions and we will try to incorporate what we can going forward. we'd like to continue to use the same concepts that our players know and love. Given the current state of the world, our opportunities for interacting with others are growing sparser by the minute. I think that what we really want to do, as creators, is to give players the chance to experience real-life interactions that come with emotions like happiness, anger, or sorrow through our games. The legacy of Harvest Moon that started before I even got involved with production, that gradual progression of the game that makes playing today even more fun than yesterday, is something we don't want to change. I want to see more titles like that for the future of our series.
That wraps up the last interview with Hashimoto-san. I found out so many new things about the Harvest Moon series through these interviews, and it made me appreciate the series so much more. I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope you leave me some comments giving me suggestions for what other videos I should make in the future. See you!